Hello all and welcome to tonight's beer review. It's getting close. It's really becoming a final countdown towards, me going on the wagon for a bit and drying out both my finances and getting my life into order. So today I'm going to be reviewing a beer that I have drank many times. And, honestly, I believe it was one of the first IPAs I ever drank, kind of showing that I've only been into craft beer for a few years rather than decades, which belies my age, I suppose. So this is a local one by Maui Brewing, and it kind of blew me away when I first had it. It was my first really super hoppy beer. And honestly, as I've gone through and drank more beer, it hasn't aged all that well. But it'll have a place in my heart, really. So let's read the label, shall we? Big Swell IPA is a fresh, handcrafted India Pale Ale brewed with huge amounts of American hops and malted barley. Dry hopped to perfection. So, big, hoppy, bold, smooth, and hoppy. And did we mention hoppy? 6.8 ABV. So it's kind of amped up. So nothing to it but to do it, yeah? So a very cloudy orange yellow. Looks almost unfiltered almost. Can't really tell the carbonation to tell the truth. This level of cloudiness. And a thick off-white to slightly yellow head. Very citrusy. Very redolent of grapefruit. Underneath that, you have some pine and some tropical fruits going on, especially that wonderful passion fruit smell. A lot of interplay in between that grapefruit and passion fruit smell. Very, very bitter. Despite the 6.8 ABV, it feels very insubstantial on the palate. Almost watery. In contrast, your hopping is so high it almost leaves an oily taste in the mouth once you swallow. Very bitter, very strong lasting finish. Still feels like those hops are just kind of coating the tongue. Not much dimension to the bitterness in that long, long bitter finish. It's just pretty much straight bitter. Very big hit of resin in the front and in the mid palate. Transitioning from the mid palate to the finish, you get a very, very fleeting sort of sweetness. And that's about the only malts that you get from the taste on your tongue and in your taste buds. Well, very perceptibly light bodied. It doesn't really come across as refreshing because of the incredibly intense hopping. Now, some hopheads would probably love the fact that this is very intensely hopped. For me, I like balance. I've come to like balance even in my IPAs. This doesn't have enough of a malt backbone for such an intense hopping. And the hopping becomes so intense that despite, having a lot of character in the nose, on your taste buds, it just becomes an overwhelming, oily bitterness, in which you don't really discern much nuances to the hops or much interplay with the malts. The problem remains as it warms up. I've had this enough, I can kind of tell you that it warms up. You get a bit more sweetness in the front, but the bitterness also intensifies too. So, in the end, what does it kind of boil down to? Well, I'm reluctant because Maui Brewing makes quite a few good beers. Especially, I love their coconut porter, and I really like their mono wheat, which is sort of like the byline of what I think, Hawaiian beers are kind of aiming for. Very tropical, light, but still intense flavor. I absolutely adore a lot of their seasonal releases, including their double IPA, which they released recently. But as one of their main elements, it's not the best IPA. It's not even close to being one of the better IPAs in the state. I suppose you can give it that it's probably a bit better than Castaway. I don't know. I kind of like Castaway better. Some people say Castaway is just abysmal. And that's Kona Brewing's IPA. So, do I recommend this? No? Go and get yourself some mono wheat and coconut porter. Those are two awesome beers. Go to the Maui Brewing brew pub in Kihei. Again, wonderful beers are only on tap there. Try the seasonals. Most of their seasonals are pretty awesome, and even when they do miss, like how it was with the breadfruit beer, it's still a really interesting, sort of unique trip. That said, I don't believe that a brewery should have to go and hit all of home runs out of the ballpark every time. So, Maui Brewing's Big Swell IPA. Mediocre beer from a very good company. I'm not going to hold it against them. And, it's a great introduction for a lot of people. It was an introduction for me. So that's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.